what is going on? It's DJ Crowley, and of course, Blue is in the house as well. And it has not been a while since we've done interviews. We actually just got done with Koopnats and Christina Elise a couple weeks back. Had a blast with them. Beach Fly a little bit before that. So many wonderful artists, and a new one for us, man. We've really been wanting to talk to these guys. Art and SensaMotion in the house from the Nash Crash Pad in Salt Lake. What's going on, man?
Yo. I'm very grateful to be here and chatting with you guys, and stoked for this.
Yeah, man, we are so stoked to chat with you. Such an incredible story with any band, but you guys have a wild story as well. We're going to get into that. I do want to start off with kind of how we found you guys. Once again, the good old Sugar Shack, man.
No, yeah,
Ed would known Ed for so many years, and I turned it. I think he texted me. He was like, "We got a real good one coming in," and I was like, okay, check this out. And I was just like, whoa, okay, this is something cool. It's a can you feel it kind of music, and the idea of feeling is going to be kind of a theme throughout this interview. Feeling music, the atmosphere that you guys create. And it's so important, man. There's nothing more important than being able to feel music, because when you can feel it, that's the real shit right
yeah,
there. So we're gonna get into that in the little later on. But I wanna kind of get into some early on stuff for maybe people who have not heard of you guys before and want to know a little bit more about you before we get into some crazy stuff. So tell us about SensaMotion, man.
yeah. So it kind of started. I think it was around like 2018 or 2019. I got hit up by Mike and Ray to kind of fill in some like summer casino, like, we call them like crab crawler gigs. 3 hours of music, covers, and I kind of did that, and they'd known me from like just coming to shows. So I was like, initially, I was just like a fan of SensaMotion, like I call it SensaMotion 1.0. And I kind of got familiar with the guys, and they were familiar with me, and like kind of like what I did. They brought me in around that time, like 2018, 2019, and I guess it went well. And then we kind of started to work on like a new catalog of music, and it's kind of led to where we are today. I know that's kind of an abbreviated version. I can go into more like specific things if you want me to.
Well, no, yeah. I mean, it's a wild story. I mean, with any band, like I was saying, it's always going to be a wild story because it's
Yeah,
touring bands.
yeah, yeah,
So it goes. I actually go. You guys, the actual band Sense of Motion goes back to the high school, right?
yeah,
With the two original people members of this band, and I think Kyle Ahern was actually even in this band at some point. Moved on to
yeah,
Revolution.
yeah.
And so many wild changes and everything, and wild moves over the years. I was checking out some of the older material on the way over here. Still just amazing, man. But you bring something really powerful in here, man. This atmosphere and that record, man. Working with Ian Young, and we're
Yeah.
gonna get into all that. And
Hmm.
it's a wild story with any band, man. But we're happy to have you
Yeah,
in the right place. The universe is wild, right?
it is.
It's just sometimes it's like, okay, you're gonna do this, and you're like,
Yeah,
oh, okay, yeah, that sounds about right.
yeah.
So hey, if you guys are just tuning in, you're late. Late, late. It's okay. We got Art
Yeah.
from Sense of Motion in
Or,
the
or
house.
just in time, or,
Yeah.
or just in
Okay.
time.
We
Yeah,
are just in time. We're not too late.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
we got Art in the house, man. Since Emotion, this band is just absolutely fantastic. We're talking about kind of how this whole thing came together. I want to talk about your own little musical history before
Yeah.
Sense Emotion. Tell us about how you came to that point of hopping on that tour. I guess that Fortunate Youth tour for that first time.
I was kind of involved in music from like an early age, and like elementary school I was in like orchestra and band, and kind of did that until like middle school and high school era. So I was always kind of involved with music, taking private guitar lessons, and my parents were very like supportive of like kind of anything musical that I wanted to like try out or explore. I had like trumpets and saxophones and guitars and drums, and so I kind of credit a lot of like where I am today to them, and like creating such like a nurturing environment to pursue music. They took me to like my first concert, and that kind of like solidified in my head like, okay, this is what I want to do, because it had such like a profound impact on me. And I think that's like what I wanted to make other people feel like that. And I think that's kind of like what you're saying, and like when you kind of introed me, like um SensaMotion is kind of about like feeling it, and that's kind of like that's been like the basis for like everything I've done, SensaMotion, and like anything I've done, like writing my own music. So I think, and that's probably where a lot of that comes across, like in our album Life in True Color. And so the Don't Think Twice tour was before me,
Oh, okay.
with Fortunate Youth. I
Gotcha.
think, but the Fortunate Youth guys they were definitely like one of the first bands to like really give SensaMotion like a national platform to
Right.
play on. I think they did a tour with Hyrie and Stranger, and that really kind of got the SensaMotion name out there. And that's when I think, yeah, Kyle Ahern was playing with them, and also John and Brian, who would play with Fortunate Youth now.
Mhm.
Um, they stole him. No, I'm just kidding.
Everybody's switching places.
I know, yeah, yeah. We always joke that SensaMotion's like the stepping stone band for people, but yeah, but
Not
but
anymore, man. Not
uh,
anymore. No, no,
yeah,
no.
not anymore, not anymore. But yeah, so yeah, lots of moving parts in SensaMotion, and like that's eventually what led me to coming on as the rhythm guitar player in 2018 with the Expanders. I was super green for touring, just kind of out there, experiencing like the what live music was all about, and I kind of fell in love with it, and and these and all the guys too from SensaMotion, and you know, so that kind of like leads us up to like the first album that we're at, like where I was talking about before, where they brought me on.
Right, right, right. Hey, we got Art from Sense of Motion in the house talking about how he found the band. Now, what did you say there? Sense of Motion is kind of known as the stepping stone band.
That's that's kind of a little bit of like an inside joke.
Yeah,
We
we'll keep that
I
inside. Well,
yeah. No. It's just like, no, I think a lot of people that played with us have gone on to like do like really, really awesome things. And like, we are super excited for them, and like couldn't be more proud that they came from SensaMotion. But it's just, it's, you gotta laugh at it a little
yeah, well,
bit. So
we're not laughing at this anymore because you guys are the real deal.
thank you, man.
You really are. I've seen this this push. I've been hearing the family all like I are seeing our family really talking about you guys. I've known Ian Young for so many years, and
Yeah.
we're going to talk about kind of some of the things he told me today about you guys here in a little bit. But you guys are the real deal now, man. I saw that Sugar Shack, and you just, man, it's just like I think what did I describe it? I said sense of motion when we listen. It almost feels effortless. That's how I kind of describe it. Calms the mind, relaxes the soul. Also creates this extremely powerful and uplifting musical atmosphere. It does make you feel you have this power, but you also have this effortless feel and relaxation that happens. Like
Yeah.
every time I'm listening to it, it's just like, and
Yeah.
then you hit this, boom, big one drop, which we're going to talk about. A good segue. And then it's just, wall of sound in your face,
Yeah.
I do want to talk about the one drop real quick because back in the day, I think Since Emotion has really been learning from all of these artists that have come up, JBB Groundation,
Yeah.
huge fans. We are as well, and then Fortunate and Ja Works, and
Yeah.
something that Ja Works said, or well, kind of told you guys, was the idea of the one drop,
Hmm.
and I want to talk about the one drop because reggae music has these little secret weapons
Hmm.
in their arsenal that no other genres have, like dub. You know what I mean? We have dub.
Yeah.
Nobody else has that. We also have the one drop. Can you explain what to everybody what the one drop is and why it is so damn important and amazing in reggae music?
I, I mean, it's it's a fundamental of reggae. Yeah, just like you're saying, and it really makes you like for me at least, I'm not a drummer. I think maybe Mike the drummer could could answer it like a little better, but it's like it's almost like the anticipation, and when it actually does hit, it like I think that's what's really powerful about it. Especially with reggae is a drum and bass centric genre.
The one drop is
Yeah,
one of those other things. It's like a secret weapon,
yeah,
and you guys really utilize that weapon
yeah, yeah,
really heavily. It's that anticipation, that
yeah. Hmm.
almost delayed response, and then ka ka boom ba boom,
Yeah,
and that's what
yeah,
you
yeah,
guys are all on that, man. It's just I love your use of one drop within SensaMotion. I wanted
yeah.
to
It's
kind
it's
of
powerful. Yeah, yeah, and that's like, and reggae music is powerful. Like the message, like not just the music and like the drums and bass, but the message and like what it all stands for. And I think like with the lyrics and like how the music is like composed is like is what makes reggae music. Yeah.
Absolutely, man. Hey, if you guys are just tuning in, you are now officially late, LATE late. We got Art SensaMotion in the house. Man, we're just so stoked to have you in here. We're talking about the importance of the one drop, talking about how you kind of found the band yourself, now seeing yourself as, you know, the SensaMotion for life. It's not the
Yeah.
stepping stone anymore. This is it.
No.
This band's doing it. And let's get into this music, man. Uh, so I want to talk about working with Ian Young, and I'm going to start it off
Yeah.
with a quote because I asked him today. I was like, "Yo, you've obviously done a little work with the boys since Emotion, haven't you?"
Yeah.
And it was funny because uh, even before I knew that you guys had done that record and worked with him, I knew you can always hear Ian in every single production.
Yeah.
You can always hear him. It's the snares, it's that verb, it's that. I mean, it's just tailored for you guys. You and Ian just click like butter.
Yeah.
So he said their music is elegant and they work really hard. They deserve all the opportunities they've been getting. It really warms my heart that through all the touring, the masses are finally getting to discover SensaMotion with their positive lyrics and driving reggae music. I really, really love their sound, and they're going to go far. Tell us about working with Ian and how that just how awesome it is at Imperial Sound and Imperial.
Yeah. I mean,
Wow.
I can't, I don't know if I can say enough positive things about Ian Young. He's just been, you know, such a great guy to work with, on a creative level and a personal level. I think like going into Life in True Color, I think he really understood like our vision and, and what we wanted, uh, to bring to the table. And you know, I a lot of like the that first album, he helped make it what it is. So talented in the production world and his own music, and like getting to work with him and like kind of like collaborative with SensaMotion was like something really special. And we went and recorded "See the Good" in at Imperial Sound too, and that was just a great experience overall. Just to be in the room, and he's got great energy, and all the love to him. Yeah.
He's so yeah, you guys are just match made in heaven. He loves roots reggae music
Hmm.
with a modern, powerful, layered atmospheric twist.
Yeah.
I think that's really what he does. And you know, you said that, you know, you're big fans of creating a scene, so to speak, of with texture and layered sound. It is all about the atmosphere. Tell us about the atmosphere and what is the atmosphere that you create for SensaMotion?
I think one thing that's coming to mind for me as far as like atmosphere is like what kind of an emotional response does it give us? If like our own music is able to give ourselves like an emotional response, then it's likely it's going to have the same on other people. And and like I was saying earlier too, like when I went to like my first concert with my parents and like that profound effect it had on me, that's like the goal. And that the atmosphere that we put onto our album and our songs are like I think are like an integral piece of that and that goal.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, and a couple other things, you know, about your process. The music, you say the music usually comes first before the lyrics.
Yeah.
Everybody does it differently.
Hmm.
You say I rely heavily on the music to influence what gets written on our songs. It's all about how it's going to make me feel
Hmm.
again at that instant. So that's how you guys do it, huh?
Yeah.
And everybody does it different. Why do you think so? Like, you know, there's so many people that will literally get their songbook out and start writing first. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? The music, I guess, is it more just that feel thing? I was like, well, this feels like this, you know, and
It's
then
like it's an instinctual thing for sure. You know, I always kind of compare us to like Bernie Taupin and Elton John. You know how like, but it's kind of the reverse though. Like, because
hmm.
I know he'll write all the lyrics, and then Elton John will will write the music to it. So and it's very much so similar. Like our drummer Mike. Um, he comes up with a lot of the music. He's always writing, and then he kind of pushes it off to me and our bass player Dylan, that just joined us. He's written some of the new songs on our new album that we're working on. The music, and that comes to me, and then I kind of like rearrange things and like put lyrics to it, and that's kind of been our process, and it seems to work really well. I try not to force creativity. So like when something's feeling good, that's kind of how it gets pushed through, like through the next phases of writing.
Yeah, and everybody does it differently, man. It's so
Mhm.
weird. I talked with John O'Halloran and Chalk Dinosaur, you know, a couple of years ago, and his process is exactly the opposite. But it works, you know. He's like, yeah, I just always constantly force myself to write. But me personally, for my own music, that I have to. If I'm not there, I'm not writing music. I'm not playing
Mhm.
music. I have to be in usually it's the highest of highs and the lowest of lows.
Yeah,
Personally, I don't know. Is
yeah,
that the same for you? Like where the really good stuff comes out?
yeah, yeah. And I think at least for me, like a lot of the stuff that I write, is I don't know. I kind of try and like I'm like human experience like focused. What's going on in here? And but yeah, I would say, yeah, definitely like the high highs and the low lows definitely bring out um some different elements um that like if you weren't feeling those, like it would be hard to
Yeah.
come. Yeah.
If, sorry, interrupt you. If you're in a neutral state of mind,
Hmm.
it's just like almost like you're not heightened, like your endorphins
Yeah.
aren't pushing as much. You know, I don't know. It's a wild thing. I've always noticed that. Like I've my favorite song I've ever written, like literally 2 minutes, 3 minutes, boom.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's like the banger. And I just it's isn't just the universe weird? Isn't
It
it
is.
crazy
It is
how
weird.
shit happens?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
in
I know.
here, over there, on this guitar, in that car. I mean,
Yeah.
I
I
we
know.
can go on for years. I mean, it's just
I
nuts,
know.
man.
That's kind of
Uh,
how our that's like how our song "Take It Easy" happened.
mm,
Me and Mike or just hanging out at his house. It was late one night. I was just like, I'm gonna grab the acoustic guitar and like, let's just like sit down and just see what comes out. And I came up with that lick, and then, like an hour and a half later, we had the whole song. And that was the last song we wrote for that album as well. And it just happens to be our most popular one. But I felt like it wasn't that we put the least amount of effort into it. It was just effortless as it came out. Yeah.
Effortless. Exactly.
Mm.
That's what we were talking about. Yeah, you guys just it feels effortless, and that's not something that every band can do, like, or can give that energy of, like, some bands you can tell that they're on stage, or they're fighting to to make it happen.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see you guys live, because I know it's just gonna be effort. It's magical. We'll make that happen at some point.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I just that traffic coming from Knoxville to Asheville was a little bit difficult, even though 40 was open after that rock slide.
Oh.
We missed the damn show, man.
Man.
We'll swing back around. Hey, how was Rise Up, man?
Oh,
Let's talk about that. Well, you're on. We'll talk about a few things you guys have been doing right now, and then we'll get into what's coming up. How
yeah.
was Rise Up?
It was great. We were only there for Saturday, really, but it's always a pleasure being with the Sugar Shack guys and crew. Yeah, like such an amazing bunch of people, so hospitable. It felt like we were back there with family. Especially after our session. I guess it was about a year ago now that we did the first one. The energy was great. The vibes were good. It was, it was great to be there and be a part of that festival. Hopefully next year we get to play on one of the festival stages.
You will. You will. Are you
Yeah.
starting to get, like, are you starting to feel things out on the road like a little different now, where people are like starting to really come up to you, or you're looking at them in the crowd and they're really feeling it? Are you feeling that energy that, like,
Definitely.
it's
Yeah.
starting to happen for you guys?
Oh yeah. Yeah. As Ian Young said, he's like, you guys got a nice little snowball forming, and that snowball it's gonna keep growing. And I think, especially on like the Tribal Seas and Kavaka
Mhm.
tour, and these first few shows of Cashed Out, I've definitely had to like step back and be like, okay, this is like people are coming out to see us like in places that we haven't been. So
Awesome.
that's pretty special. And I think it's kind of easy to get like a little bit like myopic with touring, and get jaded by it all, because it's definitely it's an arduous lifestyle, being on the road. But it's like moments like that, and like when you can step back and be like, wow, like these like this thing that we're doing is having an effect on people, like so much so that they're gonna take their time out of their weekend or their weekday, after work, and come see us, and that might be the thing that they do all month, and like that's like
Yeah.
um we try to remind ourselves that all the time, and just be grateful that we're out
Yeah.
here.
You
Yeah, but
never you,
it's cool.
you never
Yeah.
give up. You just all the years just never give up.
Yeah.
You want to do this.
Yep.
If you want to do this, you got to have passion for it. If you don't love what you're doing, get the
Yeah.
fuck out and go do something else. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
seriously, yeah. And
Yeah. Yeah.
it's happening for you guys. I can feel it. And we're so excited for the future, man. You're on the, hang out with Cashed Out right now. I can't tell you how many tours I've done with Cashed Out. I'm
Yeah.
way too high for this.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
they get that party started, man.
They
I
do.
mean,
Yeah.
back in the day, I remember I think, is Raw still sponsoring that? I can't remember, but they would have the giant blow up, like raw joints, and they'd be just
Oh
blowing
yeah.
out all the
Yeah. Yeah.
crowd and
I
just
think they're like Chiba Hut, and they have that, like that. They're like a moonshine company that's sponsoring them now too. But
yeah.
those guys are the homies. Like this is my first time like linking with them, and they've been nothing but nice. So I feel like it was like we were vibing with them from the jump.
Yeah. They're good
Yeah.
cats, man, and they're also really driven and really passionate about what they do, and they will never give up. And you can also see their success
Yeah.
from that. Recently I haven't been out on the road with them, but I'm always Pop Crowley's always hanging out, looking over the old social medias, seeing what the fam's up to.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Gotta stay up on it, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna get a little bit deeper with you here, and
Yep.
then we'll do this last question, get you out of here. Uh, but before that, let's talk about what's coming up, man. Let's talk about
Yeah.
some new music. With your that record, Life in True Color, kind of explores the themes of resilience, perseverance, and self growth. So
Hmm.
this next one, since we're kind of talk, I just asked you. I was like, do you feel like shit's really like happening for you guys now? What's the feeling going to be for this next record? Is it going to be like, hey, we're kind of making it now, we're doing it? What's the energy?
I would say it's kind of in the same vein as Life in True Color. So we've been producing most of our stuff like in house now.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Just I'm trying to grow as like an artist
Mhm.
and producer. We've been teaming up with this guy Noah Cronin, who's been mixing everything for us. He just did our newest release, Falling for You, and we're in the mixing stages of the album now, too. But the overarching theme of this album is kind of it's more of like a universal uh thing.
Cool.
Yeah, I'll kind of leave it at that.
I like that. That's
Yeah.
that's cool. I dig
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
everybody out there, this new record, this new SensaMotion record it's a
Mhm.
very universal thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
universe doing this thing. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. Like universal is in like, the human experience is like that's like that's my thing.
Perfect segue. Going into a little bit deeper kind of stuff here now. There was this kind of story seeing Saturn
Oh yeah, that's me.
in a
Yeah,
telescope,
that's me.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And talking about the overview effect, looking at the big picture and its
Hmm.
importance in life. I have a song called Zoom Out. Same
Hmm.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
You got to kind of zoom out. You got to look at once you have that ability, and it's like a self-actualization kind of thing.
Hmm.
That Maslow's hierarchy of needs, like it happens every once in a while, and
Yeah.
you have that ability to zoom out. Uh, like tell us about that night and what happened with you there.
Yeah. So I was out on my front yard in the summer. I was looking at Saturn through like a probably something that you'd be like, how can you even find anything on that?
Hmm.
But I remember being, really excited about seeing it, and my bandmates pulled up that night, and we were all just kind of looking at the planet that night, just sitting out front, and it zoomed me out, for sure. I think I said it in like another interview one time, but like I like to think of like a lot of times like we hold our problem, like if you have if you have a pebble and the pebble is your problems and you hold it really close to your eye, your problems seem really big, but
Huh.
if you can move the pebble farther from you, you can kind of gain a better understanding of everything, and the flow and like the energy of kind of everything around, and that's kind of where Life in True Color kind of came to be, you know, seeing things for what it is, going from the black and white or from the gray to the color. Um,
Huh.
yeah.
How cool is that? I love that. I really love that. The idea of like if I were to take this little one hitter and put it really, really close, it's
Hmm. Yeah.
compared to really, really far away,
Hmm.
that totally makes sense. How crazy is that, man?
Yeah.
Everybody
Yeah. So
zoom out, man.
yeah, I know. Yeah, and I think like a lot of us like especially in this world today, like we hold a lot of things like really close to really close to ourselves, like, especially with, social media and everything, and like, like how people view us, and it's hard to like, let some of that stuff go sometimes, but if you can get some clarity on it, I think it's kind of liberating. So
Yeah. Hey, Art, it's been a spectacular chat, man.
yeah,
We really, really, really dig your music, and talking to you just solidifies, you're our kind of people, man. Like,
thank you, man.
the
Yeah,
there's a way to look at life, and I think you look at life, you have a similarity there. To zoom out and think about the big picture, and think about just taking care of people and letting things
yep,
happen the way they do,
yep,
and having passion for what you fucking do.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
pretty simple, right?
yeah, 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 yeah.
So, how do you see the good? It seems simple, right? How do you see
I
the
know.
good?
It is a yeah, dauntingly simple question. So I mean, I was raised in a household where my parents were always like, treat people the way you want to be treated. And, like despite like what may appear what's going on with people on the outside, to kind of look deeper than that, and to like, have compassion and empathy for, other people, just despite like what it may seem like is going on in the surface. That's kind of that's my definition of seeing the good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that totally makes sense, man. It seems so simple, but it's so complex. Things can be so simple yet so complex.
yeah. Humans are complex,
Yeah,
and complex emotions, complex problems, and I think we're all trying to figure it out. And
yeah,
if one day it feels like we have it figured out, and then life throws you a curveball, and then you're back to figuring it out again. So
yeah.
yeah,
That's the name of the game. Figure it out. Show must go on.
yep,
But yeah,
exactly.
that's how it is, man. Hey, real quick, how can everybody find you guys? And when can we expect hearing more about maybe a couple new singles, the new record, what you got coming up in the next year or so, and then we'll get to the last question.
Yeah, so you can keep up with us and like our tour dates on sensamotion.com, or you can follow us on Instagram at sensamotion, or Facebook. All the usual suspects. We're gonna be rolling out. We're gonna be rolling out like monthly singles coming soon. I got some really special ones that we're excited for. I think this I don't know. We're all very proud of this album and who has been a part of it, and everyone that's been there to kind of put this thing together. Spring and summer, yeah, new music's rolling out. New album, probably mid to later in the year.
Yeah, can't wait for it, man. It's been such a pleasure once again. Art, SensaMotion. You better recognize. You're gonna see these guys on bigger and bigger stages. What did Ian Young say, that you're the snowball that
Yeah, he
keeps?
said he said you guys got a nice little snowball, or something along those lines. I'm sure he'd remember. I think he texted it to me, but
Oh
yeah,
man,
yeah. But
that's wild.
we're trying to build that snowball, and I every every tour date that we're doing, we're seeing that snowball
Yeah,
grow.
it's
Yeah,
because you practice what you preach. Like, you can hear it in your lyrics, and you can hear it in what you're telling me and
yeah,
us tonight, man. Such a pleasure. Every time we interview somebody for the first time, and by the way, it's not an interview; it's a conversation. We don't interview; we
yeah, yeah,
conversate
yeah.
with people here at Simmer Down. And everybody gets this question. Art, once again, it's been an absolute pleasure. Sense Emotion
Like,
is the
yeah.
name of the band. Whoop, over there, right there. SensaMotion. Don't forget it, man. It's gonna heal everything. It's gonna heal, heal, heal. It's okay. Get through life. The universe will speak right. I can't wait to see what you guys do. And welcome to this family, man.
Thank you, man.
Welcome. You guys are just a perfect fit. What does reggae mean to you?
Oh, man, that's a it's reggae is, you know, it's love, it's, you know, unity, and it's also a powerful tool. We're standing on the shoulders of giants, you know, and I think that, you know, there's definitely like a standard to be upheld for what reggae is about. And at least for me, you know, like growing up, like listening to Bob Marley and, you know, like Peter Tosh and, you know, all those guys, that those were like my main takeaways for it. You know, it's like love, unity, and like, you know, obviously there's like a very strong political thing with reggae music. It's a privilege to be able to play reggae music and keep that going.
You guys keep on doing what you're doing, all right? And
Will do.
you guys need anything, we're right here. Welcome to the fam. SensaMotion art, man. Tell the Nashes I said I love them, I miss them.
Will do. Yeah.
Tell the Cashed Out crew it's been a minute. Where you doing? How you doing? Looks like you're doing pretty good. And keep grooving and keep doing exactly what you just told us tonight. I think that's going to take you guys exactly where you need to go. It's been an absolute pleasure, man. Thank you so much.
Likewise, brother. Yeah. Thank you so much.
In every person there's a light, a spark that glows.